Raising our children. Raising children is an incredibly responsible task, right? We're given our children to raise, to take care of, and oftentimes we have many other priorities in our very busy schedule, in our daily routines, and these other priorities may override the priority of raising our children. Now, what does that really mean, a priority? Does it mean doing that despite raising children, neglecting our children? What do I really mean? Our children are our number one priority when we're parenting. But we have other responsibilities. Yes, we need self-care. Yes, we have work. Yes, we want to accomplish certain goals. But how much is too much? And how much do our children suffer despite our accomplishing of these goals or doing these activities? We're going to learn this in the insights of Parshat Matot Maseh. It says in Bamidbar 32:16, and they said, we will build sheep pens for our livestock here and cities for our children. The Jewish people reached the plains of Moab, the jumping off point for the invasion of Canaan. But the tribes of Gad and Reuben, rich in livestock, they preferred the lush pasture lands, the lush greenery, the lands of the Transjordan shares instead of Eretz Israel. They asked Moshe for permission to take their share in the Transjordan. In response, Moshe responded by scolding them for letting the others fight to conquer Canaan while they settled down in their ranches. Their reluctance to cross would have a demoralizing effect on the others. And the tribes of Gad and Reuben said, this is what we want to do. We want to build sheep pens for our livestock here and towns for our children. Then we will go quickly at the head of the army and fight until the land is conquered and apportioned. Only then will we return to our homes. And Moshe Rabbeinu says in Bamidbar 32:24, all right, build towns for your children and pens for your sheep, and make sure you keep your word. Now this is very interesting. Moshe Rabbeinu reversed the order. He pointed out to them, build towns for your children first, and then build pens for your sheep. While Gad and Reuben said, we're going to build pens for our sheep and build towns for our children. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu is trying to tell them, make sure you have attended to the needs of your children, and afterwards you can also build pens for your sheep. First, you need to take care of your children, and then you need to worry about your cattle. The Midrash sums up the exchange with the verse, as it says in Koheles, the heart of the wise man is on his right, and the heart of the fool is on his left. Moshe's heart was on the right. He had his priorities straight. Their hearts were on the left. They gave precedence to other things, importance to other things. They were more worried about their money than their children. Now, when we look at this incident, we can be completely shocked. How can these people do this? How foolish can they be? How corrupted are their values? And how can anyone put the welfare of his cattle before the welfare of his children? Now, in our times, unfortunately, this is also true. Even though this incident happened thousands of years ago, it is an everyday phenomenon in our lives. People become focused on their livelihood, on making money, on developing a business, on advancing professionally, on building a practice. And the kids get lost in the shuffle. This is exactly the same mistake as the tribes of Gad and Reuben. Now, as mothers and as wives, we want to make sure we prioritize our children. Now, this doesn't mean this is the role of a woman. The role of a woman, a wife, of course, her husband comes first. I'm not going to go into detail on what that means, but of course, attending to our marriage first. And of course, the children are important are secondary, where we're taking care of them, we're raising them. That doesn't mean you leave a crying baby while you attend to your husband, but making sure our husbands come first, prioritizing our marriage, the well-being of our marriage, and the children will follow suit. They will follow us as role models, and of course learn all the tools necessary in life as we are modeling them in our marriages. But when we're raising our children, we're prioritizing them, and we're not going to put any precedence on any other thing, meaning any other activities. Now, does that mean don't engage in other activities? No. But we must all ask ourselves, how much do we do? Do we do too much? This does not mean that don't make time for yourself or other things. But however, it should not come at the expense of your children. Even though you're being helpful to others and doing good things, the children come first, especially when they are young. Don't confuse this in the role of a woman in general, but we need to just remind ourselves this is the role of a mother. A mother brings her children first, and we just need to ask ourselves, let's ask ourselves, what activity might we be engaged in too much of at the expense of raising children? Now, in our minds, it could be a good thing that we're doing, but how much is it too much? Or maybe it's not good at all. So these examples can include too much work, cleaning the house too much, right? There's a saying that Esther Schwartz says, everything physical, good enough is good enough. Anything spiritual, it's never good enough. Meaning spiritual matters, midot, everything I'm learning, I could always learn to be better. But in the physical sense, my dress is good enough, right? Even though it doesn't match exactly with my shoes. The house is clean enough. The cabinet is organized enough. I cooked enough, right? There's something called enough in the physical means. Or like constructing the house, constantly beautifying the house, constantly decorating the house, right? Sometimes we see parents that are just so into their home, well, they don't let their kids become kids, stay kids, explore the house, or do things in the home where they're, doing arts and crafts maybe, or have accidents, make messes. Of course that's going to happen. But if a parent is too busy beautifying their house, constructing their house, where's the opportunity for a child to be a child, or for a grandchild to be a grandchild? Too much shopping, too much self-care. Yes, there's such a thing as too much self-care. I always promote taking care of yourself, making sure you come first, because you can't take care of your family if you don't put a smile on your face, if you're not doing it with happiness, if you're not doing it in a good mood. Take care of yourself, of course. Of course, sometimes you need more self-care than other days. However, let's not make self-care a religion where it needs to be all day, every day. What the secular society teaches us, the less you do, the happier you should be. What did you do today? Nothing. Oh, you had a good day. What did you do today? I worked. Oh, you had to go to work. Oh, wouldn't it be nice just to have money just rolling in and just sit back and relax, watch TV, or, just take care of yourself. Do nothing. We're not supposed to do nothing, and that's a whole different topic. But self-care, how much is too much? How much am I making it into a religion? Too much talking to other people, especially at nights when we're putting our kids to bed. I really value someone who was not, she shared with me that she was not able to go to a workshop because she was putting her kids to bed at night, and she really needed to be there, especially when her older children weren't there, and she really needed to attend to them, or her husband had a certain schedule, but he couldn't be home. I really just admired her for sharing that with me, because there's only one mommy. There could be many babysitters, many caregivers, many teachers, but there's only one parent, and we need to be there for this valuable time. And she said so beautifully, this is the time I value with them, because they're going to grow up soon, and I'm not going to have a chance to embrace this memory of being a young mommy with my young children, putting them to bed. Too much restaurants, right? Going out a lot, being at every event, lecture, celebration. We could listen to lectures over the phone. We don't have to always be out every day. Those of us who are speakers, such as myself, I also tell myself not every day. I have a certain amount of days during the week that I'm out, because it's just, my kids are still growing. Yes, they're a lot bigger, but when the kids get bigger, it's just a lot easier to be out. And you can have those opportunities to help the community, to give classes, even to leaders in the community. Family comes first. Only when I attend to my family can I go out and help others. Another mother called me up and she was complaining to me how she just hasn't finished schooling. She started classes online and she's just not finished. She has a bunch of kids at home, all, under the age of 8. And it's hard. And she was just feeling sorry for herself, feeling bad, not knowing, when is she finally going to accomplish this goal. And the truth of the matter is, this is our goal. If our kids are young, they need us. Money can come in all different ways. Hashem will take care of us. Parnasa will be sent our way in different ways. Livelihood can be sent. And if it means living in a way where we need to balance our finances and just have less, then that's what we need to experience. But our kids need us. That is our role, to take care of our kids and raise our children. Rabbanit Dahan beautifully shared with me how our children are really our jewels. Would you ever give jewelry to someone else? Would you ever just say, okay, can you just wash this for me while I leave? Or can you just wash this for me for a little while? Hold on to it? You wouldn't do that, even for a short time, because your jewelry is so precious. Your children are your jewels. They're so precious. You don't want to give them under the care of other people. There are many babysitters, many caregivers, but there's only one mommy, right? There's only one parent. Obviously mommy and daddy, but we want to be cognizant and become aware that we are placing our children under the care of others. If you don't have to go and work and don't have to support your husband, try to stay home for a few years. Try to be there for them. These are crucial years. They need love and attention and support and encouragement. You don't want them to grow up needing that as young adolescents. And then we're wondering sometimes it is an issue where we're wondering, why isn't it that the child is happy? Because it needs that. The child needs that, and they didn't get it in their younger years. It could be definitely a possibility. There's a very distinguished rabbi who has a large family and lives in a beautiful, spacious home. And someone remarked, wow, you have a lot of children, and yet you put most of them in one room. And the rabbi, very humbly responded that I don't want my children to be spoiled. Obviously after they reach a certain age, they become adolescents, you move them out of the room. But when they're small, there's so many opportunities for character growth, for so many opportunities to understand the other, such as, you learn to think of others when you share a space, noise level, thinking of others when engaged in an activity like play, reading with the lights on or off, you're not having the lights on obviously when you're reading, or you have to, dim them, or read a bedtime story, or talk to younger siblings, or calm them down, or while mommy's busy, or soothe a younger sibling who's not falling asleep, or clean up after the younger siblings or another sibling who made a mess, because this is your shared space. And this is teaching them to be responsible adults. Unfortunately, we may be mistaken in thinking that the more a child has, the happier they are. That's a whole different topic altogether. But when they think of the other, they're always growing as a person. And a practical tip I will leave you with is try to spend quality time with your children once a week, whether you have 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. It also depends how old they are. If they're younger, they may not have such a big attention span. With the younger kids, maybe 5 minutes a day, it accumulates to like half an hour after the whole week. Or maybe with your older kids who are after 5 years old, really that half hour a week doing something that they love to do and you love to do. Because if you don't love to do it, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel that mommy just is doing me a favor. She can't wait to get back to whatever she wants to do. So try to do something you also enjoy doing. If it's painting, if it's drawing, if it's going for a walk in the park, or, a nature scenery, try to do something that they also would love to do with you and you love to do with them. I hope these ideas were helpful. we really want to put our children first, in front of all our other priorities, because, life comes in stages and phases. They won't be young forever. They won't be small forever. Stage of a mother always changes, and we change with our children. So if there is a lot of little children at home, or just some, or just one, we know that this is our stage in life to be there for them, and time just goes by so very, very quickly. You ask any person who is considered to be older, maybe after 70 years old, no matter how old they are, they'll say that time flew by so quickly. They don't know where the time went. No matter which generation, especially our generation, where time simply just flies. Appreciating the insights of Rabbi Frand in his book called Parsha, Rabbi Frand on the Parsha, Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming, Awakening Awareness of Your Greatness and Potential.